Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. This video is another deep dive. We're doing a lot of deep dives here in this part of the offseason. Not much going on, but still a lot to talk about. So today, our deep dive is about the Baltimore Ravens, a team that it's a playoff team. They were last year. Lamar finally got that playoff win against the Tennessee Titans, a team that they're kind of forming a little rivalry with. Got the win against the Titans, couldn't beat Buffalo, but still Lamar got that playoff win. The Ravens had a few holes on the roster, one in particular that I think they filled really well. But we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens, what they did last year, their moves in the draft and free agency, and how we think they stack up against their competition in the 2021 season.
Yeah, we'll always start with the draft in these videos, so we're going to do that again. Usually we go to Jordan for that. So, Jordan, are you prepared?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and read us off the draft picks for the Baltimore Ravens to get this video going.
Well, as you can see, I'm so enthusiastic because it's later at night, and this is usually a time where I'm already showered and in bed, and I'm here making a video for you guys.
By the way, it's 11:12. It's not that late, especially now that we're in summer.
Yeah.
Too bad. I still go to bed at the same time. Round 1, pick number 27 overall. The Ravens picked
might as well just type it into Google Translate.
Rashad
Bateman.
Hey, he did it.
Wide receiver out of Minnesota.
Yeah, we're going to let Ryan do this one because we know, you guys might know that you, from watching this channel, know that Ryan
loves
Minnesota
too, Tyler, but you could do this one if you want.
But Ryan's more of a Rashad Bateman type of guy, so we're going to go to him to talk about it since he was so high on Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, so before the video, they were like, we got to do a deep dive. What team? Last time I got to talk about Kwity Paye, who I like on the Colts, and now I'm going to get to talk about Rashad Bateman. That's why we're doing this Ravens video. So you look at Rashad Bateman. This was an outstanding pick, one of, if not the biggest steal of the draft. He was the number one receiver in this draft, in my opinion. I actually feel more and more confident about that as we go on in the offseason. I just really think he's in a good situation where he's got a chance to be the number one guy in Baltimore. I think that's what he will be quite soon, actually. I know they got Thailand Wallace later and Sammy Watkins in free agency. I think that Rashad Bateman is going to be Lamar's guy in Baltimore, and that's what he needs. And he just simply is the complete prototype NFL receiver. He has all the traits that you look for. He's got a diverse skill set. He can run routes. He can, run deep, run short. He can make the 50-50 catches. He can get open. He can be the guy, and I just feel like his speed and athleticism coupled in with the kind of completeness of his skill set is just what makes him the best receiver in the draft. When I was going in the process of scouting and watching film on receivers, I did not expect Bateman to be my number one guy, but that's what's fun about watching film. You watch things, you fall in love with certain guys, and you're like, wow, I really like this guy. And then you're like, wow, I'm really much higher on this guy than the rest of the draft community. And that's always fun when you find a guy that you are, really passionate about in terms of how high you are on them. I think Bateman is going to be fantastic. Number one receiver in this draft class, big steal for Baltimore. I think he was 6th overall on my big board. Some people probably had him as the number 6 receiver. But Bateman, I think he's going to have a fantastic NFL career, an instant impact, and he will be the number one receiver in Baltimore just because of how complete and diverse his skill set is. He is built for the NFL. So Ravens fans, I know a lot of you are, but if you're not, you should be thrilled with the Bateman pick.
I'm not as high on it as you are, Ryan. Rashad Bateman was my 5th ranked wide receiver, but there definitely is that first-round talent there, and I would say the Ravens are getting a good bargain for the pick that they got Rashad Bateman at. They had a second first-round pick that I can read because Jordan takes too long unless he wants to go quickly.
Round 1, number 31 overall. Apparently his name is Odafe away now.
It's no longer Jason. It's Odafe.
In my draft notebook, it's Jason.
He's a linebacker out of Penn State.
Odafe was just too hard, I guess, for people to say, but now he's in the NFL. He wants to be called by his real name, so Odafe away.
He's not really a linebacker,
pick number 31, edge or linebacker, whichever one you'd like to say. I don't know if he was a first-round talent to me. I think there was moments of greatness, but it's just too inconsistent for me. So I don't know about it. I mean, they must have really liked him, probably had their eyes set on him for this pick after trying to get a wide receiver. He had to be someone they were looking towards as well. I think he'll fit in with this Ravens offense or defense, excuse me.
Still a bit raw.
Very nicely, but
still a bit raw. Has to get a bit stronger, but the potential's there. I had a second-round grade on him.
Round 3, number 94 overall. The Ravens select Glover Cleveland.
What the heck?
Guard out of Georgia.
Grover Cleveland. Okay,
his name is Ben. Now. Yeah. Ben Cleveland.
Yes, it's Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland out of Georgia. 3rd round pick number 94, as Jordan said. He was a good player. I really think for the last couple of years he's been someone that's been on a lot of people's radar. He didn't really shine as a reason with last time we saw him play college football. But I think there definitely was enough talent to say that he was a third-round player. I think they got good value out of him.
Another third-round player at 104 overall. Brandon Niwa. Just kidding.
Shout out to our guy we do the podcast with right there.
Brandon Stevens, cornerback out of SMU.
It's not that late, Jordan. How about Grover Cleveland, Brandon? You're going places.
Brandon Stevens, I did not watch on SMU, so no.
I like this next pick though.
But yeah, this next one is good.
Round 4, number 131 overall. Thailand Wallace, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State, where Tevin Jenkins was too.
Very good. I really like that the Ravens kind of doubled down on receiver here. I think that again, I always say it. There's always rookie receivers in the mid rounds that end up having first round type careers. And I'm not saying Wallace will be that good, but I think he's definitely a guy that will make an immediate impact. That'll step in again. I've been critical of Lamar Jackson, but I like how the Ravens are getting him better wide receiving core. Obviously, he's still not going to have the type of, weapons that a guy like Patrick Mahomes will have to work with. He's, still, got a lot of younger guys, and Sammy Watkins, a guy who's probably past his prime. But I think that the Ravens did a good thing building around Lamar Jackson. Maybe now Lamar will be able to throw up in the pocket a little bit more, because I think if Lamar could evolve as a pocket passer, he could take that offense and that team to new heights. So I think getting him better receivers, maybe not having to be so run heavy, getting a more diverse offensive skill set. Because I always said about the Ravens, the question was, if you can stop their run game and their little cute pistol formation and their three-headed monster with the run game, you win. If you stop that, you win. The Colts couldn't do it. The Bills absolutely did it, and they shut down the Ravens. They won 17-3. But now I think the Ravens will finally have more of a, more different ways of attacking you offensively. So I think they will be harder to beat because of the way they drafted.
Let's keep going down quickly here.
Trade alert. The Arizona Cardinals traded the pick with the Ravens. Round 5, 160 overall. Shawn Wade, cornerback out of Ohio State.
Shawn Wade was someone that a lot of people were raving about earlier on this year, and then the play just wasn't there from Ohio State. He got burned a lot, especially when playing against those SEC teams or in the playoffs
and Penn State.
Other Big Ten teams as well. It just didn't go very well for him last year, so that's why he fell to the 5th round. But what we saw from the past from him, there's a lot of potential.
Round 5.
We can just read the rest of these names at this point.
Dalen Hayes.
Dalen Hayes at round 5.
Defensive end out of Notre Dame. Also in round 5. Last pick of the draft for the Baltimore Ravens. At 184 overall, they select Ben Mason, who's a fullback out of Michigan.
I feel like right now we're in Monsters Inc. with that girl that runs the
front desk.
Yeah, the front desk. That's Jordan right now.
Shut up.
So let's go to free agency now, just to speed this up a little bit. They didn't do very much in free agency, at least just looking at this chart. They made some moves, getting Sammy Watkins. They got Alejandro Villanueva. Some players that they lost definitely were the case. Yeah. They lost Matt Judon to the Patriots, Yannick Ngakoue to the Raiders. Mark Ingram went to the Texans, Ryan's Texans. But there wasn't much like Orlando Brown with the Chiefs in that trade to get back into the first round.
Yeah.
So there wasn't too much that they really acquired, at least to my memory and looking at this chart.
Yeah, I mean, it really only is like Sammy Watkins. I think that's the main thing that comes to your mind. And I'm glad they didn't stop with Sammy Watkins. I think that, I don't think he's quite a number one guy, especially when they say get Lamar a number one receiver. I think they ended up getting him one in Rashad Bateman later, so that's fine. So I like the Sammy Watkins pick, kind of a low-risk, high-reward move. And then you mentioned the guys they lost, a couple edge rushers in Judon and Ngakoue. Ngakoue to the Raiders, Judon to the Patriots. So we'll see. I think part of that is the reason. That's part of the reason, rather, why they drafted Odafe away and wanted to, get that first-round pick, because Orlando Brown, part of the reason he left, or I think it was pretty much the only reason, unless I'm forgetting something, he wanted to go somewhere where he could play tackle. Obviously, Kansas City with the releasing of Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. They need a tackle. And by the way, the Chiefs did a great job of kind of remodeling their offensive line in just one offseason. But that's for a different video. So the Ravens, big hole to fill in the offensive line as they lost their Pro Bowl player via trade. But yeah, not too much, dramatic stuff for the Ravens. I think it's just for them a question of the teams that they're going against in the division. Obviously, Cleveland is going to take another step up this year, in my opinion. Pittsburgh still has some talent. Will Big Ben be able to make one more run? And then the Bengals are getting Joe Burrow back healthy.
The schedule definitely is going to be something that it becomes a problem. We're talking about the record for the Ravens this year. But right now, let's just get into the roster a little bit. I'll just read off the offense right now.
Lamar
and then
Jackson.
We can continue on. We're going to start with the wide receivers, though, Jordan. Sammy Watkins,
Brown.
we mentioned, Marquise Brown, and Rashad Bateman. Miles Boykin. James Prochet, Devin Duvernay, two guys.
James Prochet.
Drafted pretty recently. Jordan, please stop talking about it.
Tylan Wallace.
Yes, Tylan Wallace as well. There are linemen right now that are going to be the starters. Ronnie Staley, Bradley Bozeman, Patrick McCarry, Kevin Zeitler, and Alejandro Villanueva, who we talked about.
That was a nice rating.
Yeah, that was a good one. We did talk about that one. Nick Boyle and Mark Andrews are their tight ends. Mark Andrews obviously being one of the better tight ends for like the last 2 or 3 years in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, their quarterback, obviously. Backups, Trace McSorley, Tyler Huntley, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill are the running backs right now. And Patrick
fullback, Patrick Ricard.
So it's a pretty solid offense right now. I mean, really, what we've been looking at for the past couple of years has been that wide receiver position. They got Sammy Watkins and now Rashad Bateman, both this year, one out of the draft and one out of free agency. So that definitely should fill some gaps that they need in that offense. The offensive line looks pretty good. Lamar Jackson, obviously MVP not too long ago. Wouldn't expect to see a decline very quickly from him. And then they got a stacked running back group with Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins. So the offense itself is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that the only question for me is can Lamar develop as a pocket passer, and can the Ravens actually have a formidable passing attack where if you shut down their run game and, keep Lamar in the pocket, you don't necessarily beat them. That's what the Bills did in the playoffs. So if the Ravens get to a point where they say, hey, even if you shut our run game down, we can still beat you in the air. Lamar can still throw from the pocket if he doesn't have places to go. If the Ravens could just get that done, I think they could take kind of that next step. Because, again, I've been critical of Lamar Jackson. I've been critical of the Ravens. But with what they did this offseason, they've given themselves a chance to kind of retool their offense to have more ways of beating other teams.
In my professional and tired opinion, the wide receiving core has a bunch of number 2 wide receivers in it. There's 3 of them, and that could be deadly or it could be not good.
I mean, it's not terrible to have 3 number 2 wide receivers. It's better than having, one really good receiver and then, everyone else is going to be in, number 3 receivers.
It's so kind of like the Texans.
Yeah, so there's not really, any really bad players. There's just not someone that's going to shine out. Maybe Rashad Bateman or Sammy Watkins, the newcomers there, can do that. But we'll see. Let's go to the defense now.
They have the best name on football on their defense.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. We'll see what he's about to say for that one. I'm just going to read off the roster now. Derek Wolfe, Brandon Williams, Calais Campbell, Pernell McPhee, Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, Titus Bowser.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah, Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott, Marlon Humphrey, and Tavon Young. Those are just the guys slated in the starting positions right now. So it's a solid defense. They lost some players into free agency this year, but they definitely should be able to recover because they have a lot of talent all around at the secondary and at the defensive line.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the edge rushers, seeing if they can step up and fill the voids that the Ngakoue and Judon left. Obviously, that's going to be something to watch. How soon do we see Odafe Oweh get some action? The linebackers, Patrick Queen had a solid rookie year. Tyus Bowser, Jordan's guy. You said you're talking about the favorite name.
Yeah, I like Bowser from Mario.
There you go. Linebackers are good, and that secondary is really good. Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark. I mean, you read off the names already. It's really a nice, complete secondary. 2 really good corners, one of the best corner duos in the league, in my opinion. So the secondary for the Ravens, it's good. But my question for them on defense is, can those edge rushers step up and fill the voids of the guys that they lost this offseason?
You mentioned Odafe Oweh, Justin Madubuike. They drafted last year as well.
I liked him.
So he's yet to really get his chance
to
shine yet. So we'll see how it goes with him as well, and then we'll read off the special teams quickly and get to
their
the
defense is
segment
fantastic.
of it. So punt returner.
I'm so excited about it.
I don't know what Jordan's saying over there. Punter Sam Cook, kicker Justin Tucker.
I love Tucker.
Long snapper Justice Hill. Sam Cook's their holder. Then Justin Tucker. Devin Duvernay is the kick returner and punt returner for them right now. Slated going into this part of the offseason. So that's the special teams as well. Let's do one word for their offseason, and then we'll talk about record and wrap this video up. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Receivers.
Ryan says receivers. Jordan, are you ready yet?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
AARP. Because they have Alejandro Villanueva. They're really getting their insurance in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say fast. I feel like
That's a
they
good one.
went out and got a lot of quicker players in the draft and to
They
try
got
and
some
make
insurance
some quick,
with
yeah.
these people.
Not bad. So
They got some insurance with their fast receivers.
there you go. We combine all three. Look at how that goes. So
US,
let's do a rough
it's
record
USAA.
prediction, not even looking at the
USAA.
schedule. Just the talent
It's
of the
USAA.
team. Jordan,
Right.
we're going to start with you talking about USA over there. Give us a rough record prediction for the Ravens going into next year.
Math is difficult in my head right now. 11-6.
All right.
10-7.
I'm right. I'm in between both of those ones. I was thinking about both of them. I'm just going to give the Ravens the benefit of the doubt and say 11-6 for them. So I'm going to agree with Jordan on that. Not a bad team, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. And I don't know if we're going to see Lamar Jackson get a little bit worse.
Apparently, the Seahawks are discussing a trade for Julio Jones.
I saw that earlier today.
That's been news for a little bit now. So that's the Ravens Deep Dive. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. Like I said, go comment down below.
More excitement.
What do you think about the Ravens? We'd love to talk about Baltimore going into next year. So go down and comment. Also go check out our Instagram and our podcast, where we keep you updated with all the football news and other stuff that we have to share with you guys. That's all I have to say for this one. So with that, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.